pinching pennies. It's a practice that we all have to adopt nowadays, right? And with back to school just around the corner, many households have to be perfecting this practice. Good day, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Welcome to another edition of Jamaica Magazine. On this episode, we look at money-saving strategies. Stay with me. We have a lot to explore right after the news.
The Petrocaribe Development Fund has been helping to transform the Jamaican landscape for over 9 years, expanding our roadways, modernizing our airports, facilitating the creation of jobs and providing academic scholarships, reshaping communities and improving sanitation facilities. The Petrocaribe Development Fund, moving beyond energy security. To find out more about the fund, call 960-9110 or visit their website, petrocaribejm.org.
Good day, I'm Andrea Chizom and this is your JIS News for Wednesday, August 26. Prime Minister Portia Simpson-Miller is encouraging the local manufacturing sector to do more to take advantage of non-traditional exporting markets. Mrs. Simpson-Miller says players in the sector should maximize on the recently launched National Export Strategy 2 to increase their trade and export with the Latin American and Caribbean markets.
If we're not trading more, if we're not selling more, then we will not be able to increase our export and trade, and creating more jobs and increasing the rate of economic growth.
The Prime Minister was speaking Tuesday as fertilizer producer Newport Fersen marked 10 years of operations on the island. The function also served as a long service award ceremony for Newport Fersen employees. The Cabinet Office and the Local Government Ministry have signed an agreement to support government's thrust to improve the ease of doing business in Jamaica. The two entities signed a memorandum of understanding on Tuesday, laying out the implementation plan for improving the development applications review process.
At the end of this project, it is our expectation that more high-value development applications, compliant with regulations to protect the safety of our people and our environment, will be processed within a 90-day period or less.
Similar agreements will be signed shortly with the Ministry of Water, Land, Environment and Climate Change and NEPA. The Cabinet Secretary says it's in keeping with the vision of a transformed public sector capable of delivering improved service to Jamaicans.
We are also ensuring that the public sector as a whole is playing its part to facilitate economic development and the achievement of Jamaica's national development goals.
The Education Ministry has announced that the internal tuition and auxiliary fees for the upcoming academic term will remain the same as last year. Speaking at a JIS think tank on Tuesday, Chief Education Officer Dr. Grace McLean had strong words for school administrators.
No changes should be made to schools' internal tuition, grant and auxiliary fee structure unless these have been approved by the regional directors. Auxiliary fees are not optional, but form part of that portion of the school fees to be borne by parents. School administrators are being reminded to devise reasonable payment plans to facilitate and accommodate parents in meeting their auxiliary fees obligations. Our schools are also being reminded that students should not be excluded from school because of their inability to pay.
She also pointed out that charges for goods such as physical education gears, epaulets, badges, lab coats and services should not be included on the vouchers for auxiliary fees. Secondary students who are on the program of advancement through health and education path, as well as those who are wards of the state, will continue to receive $2,000 each. Meanwhile, the Chief Education Officer says schools will also be provided with the necessary funds to continue the school feeding program. It's managed by the Education Ministry's School Feeding Unit in collaboration with Nutrition Products Limited.
The school's accounts will be funded during the first week of September. While lunch will be provided for other children, over 130,000 of our early childhood cohort will also be provided with breakfast.
Nutrition Products Limited will commence the production and delivery of snacks to schools in the first week of the new term. Small business owners are being called on to ensure they formalize their operations in order to benefit from government incentives available to entrepreneurs. Commerce Minister Anthony Hilton made the plea while speaking at a recent mobile business clinic initiative. It was held at the Dehaney Park Community Center in St. Andrew.
If you're doing business, it's not simply about eating a food. You have to formalize the business. And when you formalize the business, that doesn't mean you will get a loan, but it is one of the critical things that you have to do if you hope to get a loan.
The minister pointed out that several agencies, such as the Jamaica Business Development Corporation and the company's Office of Jamaica, were available to help persons with starting or growing a business. Meanwhile, the Mobile Business Clinic initiative, which was launched last September, will be making other stops across the island. The initiative brings business development services directly to persons in the micro, small and medium-sized sector. And finally, the Jamaica Tourist Board is conducting marketing activities at the World Championships being held in Beijing, China. JTB's activities in China include the hosting of Jamaica House Beijing. It's a promotional concept which seeks to capitalize on the global focus on the Jamaican track and field team. Tourism Minister Dr. Wickham McNeil and Director of Tourism Paul Pennycook left the island on Tuesday to join the marketing team in Beijing. Minister McNeil says the country is poised to reap tourism benefits as a result of the athletes' achievements. And that's it for JIS News today. Amandra Chisholm, thank you for watching.
You know, a whole heap of youth smoke weed and stand up.
For real, no. But did have some friends who smoke weed in the gully behind school.
Well, I mean.
Yeah, man. And when graduation time come, my youth, none of them no graduate. One of them ain't even gone.
The only high grade I want is on my C6.
The future come first.
Spending money to save even more money. This is one of the approaches the government has taken to build on Jamaica's financial stability. Learn more in strategic priority number 1, fiscal prudence and pursuit of a credible macroeconomic program.
Being financially responsible while carrying out a program to improve Jamaica's economy continues to be one of the hallmarks of government. In June of this year, the government had a non-deal roadshow in the United States and Europe to tell stakeholders about Jamaica's progress under the economic reform program and boost investor confidence. That objective was achieved. On July 23, the government raised $2 billion through a bond offer, the highest ever in a single transaction.
This strong interest by the international capital markets demonstrates investors' confidence in Jamaica and specifically in the economic reform program and the various initiatives this administration has already implemented and which it plans to implement in the future.
It's not that we are borrowing more money and digging a deeper hole for ourselves. We really borrowed those funds in order to pay off a much larger debt.
So what's the purpose of the $2 billion? Well, $500 million will be used to make government bond payments of 62 billion Jamaican dollars. That's due in February 2016. That payout will give banks more money to lend to individuals and will drive a reduction in interest rates. The remaining $1.5 billion of the $2 billion raised on the international capital markets was used to fund the Petrocaribe debt buyback. Let's break down the issue. Under the Petrocaribe agreement, Jamaica pays Venezuela upfront for a portion of the oil it receives from the country. If the oil price exceeds $40 per barrel, Jamaica should pay Venezuela the remainder of the money 25 years after at an interest rate of 1% per year. Now, Jamaica and Venezuela formally entered into the Petrocaribe agreement in 2005. That means Jamaica would not need to pay for a portion of the oil it received in 2005 until 2030. But things happen, and each country has to adjust its economic plans to suit its current needs. So Venezuela said, Jamaica, if you buy back or pay off your debt under the Petrocaribe agreement before the deadline in 2030, you will receive a discount.
So we can take approximately $1.5 billion US and buy back approximately $3 billion US of debt from Petrocaribe from Venezuela. So you're really, in a way, buying back the debt pretty cheaply.
And so the government took up Venezuela's offer, using the $1.5 billion we spoke about earlier to clear arrears as at December 2014.
These transactions, which were successfully completed, are for and will be to the benefit of the Jamaican people.
Here's why. Point number 1.
Our debt service will be lower by just under $300 million US over the life of the transaction.
Point 2.
These transactions together allow for a reduction in the nominal debt stock. This is contrary to the notion that has been posited in some circles that the government is increasing the country's debt.
Point 3 relates to the ratio of Jamaica's debt to gross domestic product GDP.
This transaction has the effect of lowering the debt to GDP ratio by approximately 10%.
And it is going to allow us to achieve the March 2017 debt to GDP target of 127%, 20 months early. So this is a major accomplishment and a major benefit to the country from the Petrocaribe deal.
And point 4.
The reduction in the debt to GDP ratio and the improvement in the country's risk profile means better interest rates, not just for Jamaica, but for all investors wanting to invest in Jamaica.
In addition, the Petrocaribe Development Fund, which was saving money and investing in projects to pay Venezuela when the oil debt payments were originally due in 2030, will now be required to pay Jamaica's central government.
The payments from the Petrocaribe Development Fund will allow further the government to improve the services that the government provides.
A number of stakeholders have commended the government for the Petrocaribe debt buyback.
I think that the Petrocaribe transaction puts Jamaica very firmly on the path to achieve the 2020 target of 96% debt to GDP. And this is an important milestone in the general economic reform program that we have undertaken.
And on the international scene,
international rating agencies like Standard & Poor, Fitch, Moody's, they will take another look at Jamaica, and we may see that they give us a rating upgrade.
The International Monetary Fund also supported the Petrocaribe debt buyback.
We welcome the recent Petrocaribe liability management operation. It was a proactive and important step in reducing Jamaica's public debt.
The government of Jamaica, acting on strategic priority number 1, being financially responsible while pursuing policies to improve the economy.
Yes, you want to go back to school, but you don't have enough money to do so. One avenue you can explore that will ease your financial burden is applying for a scholarship or grant. Learn where and how next.
Government, through its various ministries and agencies, awards a number of scholarships to students each year. You too could qualify and benefit from a scholarship or grant, but you must seek in order to find. At the primary level and moving on to high school, students who do GSAT each year and earn high scores can get scholarships from the Ministry of Education.
The scholarships are awarded to students from both public and private institutions. The government in itself, the Ministry of Education, offers a total of 32 scholarships, government scholarships, yearly to students who sit GSAT examination.
Of the 32, 4 are named after prominent Jamaicans: former government minister J.A.G. Smith, and 3 of the national heroes, Marcus Garvey, Paul Bogle, and George William Gordon. To qualify for these, students must meet some personalized criteria, generally related to the person in whose honor the scholarship is named.
For example, the Paul Bogle Scholarship, it is offered to a boy or a girl who must be attending Morant Bay High School. So if a child is selected to attend Morant Bay High School, then that child qualifies to be among those who will be selected. But the bottom line is that it would be based on performance.
So what of the next 28?
Basically, the 28 scholarships are awarded based on performance purely. And it is awarded to all school types. So private, which we refer to the prep schools, all-age schools, primary and junior high primary school students.
In addition to these, the Education Ministry also offers sponsored scholarships, extended through private sector institutions such as banks to top-performing students. High schoolers, you might have just completed 5th or 6th form and are ready to experience the college life. In case you didn't know, the Student Loan Bureau actually offers grants. Yes, under its specially designed Grant in Aid GIA program, students receive a specified non-repayable sum to assist with the funding of school-related expenses. It's not a full scholarship, but it can certainly help to make a difference. Check out the Bureau's website to see if you qualify or call them at 754-2559. Then there is JAMVAT. The Jamaica Values and Attitudes program is another viable option from the Ministry of Education. Students volunteer for 200 hours and in turn earn a payoff of 30% of their tuition fees as well as an additional stipend. A great reason to volunteer indeed. For those of you already in university, the Ministry of Education's tertiary level unit is a great place to start your search. You can stop by their offices, make a call, or simply log on to their website, click on scholarships, and a long list of opportunities opens. The Ministry of Finance and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs also have a number of scholarship programs in place, especially if you're looking for opportunities to study abroad. Think Cuba, Russia, Japan, and so many other foreign countries. These scholarships offer not just educational advancement, but to a greater extent, a cultural exchange and broadening of your global network. If you need help in your search for scholarships, another government agency, the National Center for Youth Development, which falls under the Ministry of Youth and Culture, also displays scholarship options for students on its website. For further tips, call and/or check out the websites of the Ministries of Education, Finance, and Foreign Affairs. Do you or someone you know have a disability? Do you want to start a business or need some financial help for an already established business? Then we've got you covered. The Ministry of Labour and Social Security through the Jamaica Council for Persons with Disabilities offers grant funding to individuals and groups under its Disabilities Economic Empowerment Grant Program.
You have to be registered with the Jamaica Council for Persons with Disabilities. For persons doing the business, you must have a business plan. You must have your TRN, and the business owner from which you are purchasing, or the supplier from which you are purchasing, they must have their TRN also.
Get on the path to economic empowerment and independence. You have the ability. For further information, contact the Jamaica Council for Persons with Disabilities at 968-8373, 926-9374 or visit their head office at 18 Ripon Road.
No matter where you are on your financial journey, you need to know that it's possible for anyone to turn their financial life around. Sometimes all it takes is that first step in the right direction to get things moving in your favor. But as with most things, sometimes that very first step is the hardest part. So here are 5 things you can consider to help you with that first step. Write a list before you go shopping and stick to it. One of the easiest ways to save money is to use the list when shopping. When you're without one, you typically end up making impulse buys and unplanned purchases. Always create a list and, more importantly, stick to it. Master the 30-day rule. Avoiding instant gratification is one of the most important rules of personal finance, and waiting 30 days to decide on a purchase is an excellent way to implement that rule. Quite often, after a month has passed, you'll find that the urge to buy has passed as well, and you'll have saved yourself some money simply by waiting. Sign up for every free customer rewards program you can. No matter where you live, you'll find plenty of retailers who are willing to reward you for shopping at their store. You can add to those rewards and discounts by using rewards credit cards to earn points on purchases at a wide range of stores that can be redeemed for cashback or other benefits. Avoid stress spending. It's easy to justify spending money just to wind down from a stressful day at work. However, it's rarely a good idea. Instead of buying things you don't need to make yourself feel better, it might be wise to find other ways to de-stress. Create a visual reminder of your debt. To put your debt into terms that are easy to understand, make a giant progress bar that starts with the amount of debt you have and ends with 0. Each time you pay down a little bit, fill in a little more of that progress bar. Keep this reminder in a place where you'll see it often and keep filling it in regularly. It can help keep your eye on the prize and lead you straight to debt freedom. None of the ideas shared will be life-changing on their own, but they can make quite a difference over time if you're able to implement more than one. It's back to school time in a few days, and there's a lot to be done, including getting schools in tip-top shape. Here's a suggestion. Get involved in your child's school cleanup activities. Not only is it going to be fun, but you will be helping the school to put the money they would spend to get hired help into other developmental projects for your child.
There is a saying which states, "Many hands make work light," and we've seen this be proven true, especially when we take on our annual Labor Day activities and other organized work days. This can be applied to getting schools ready to reopen their doors. Yes, man! Community members coming out and helping to fix up learning facilities in their areas. And if you're not sure where to start, we have a few suggestions.
Education is a partnership, and by virtue of this partnership, the community is extremely critical. So as we prepare for the new school year, what are some of the things that our community members can do? Our community members can assist in the preparation of the classrooms, the repairs to the benches as well as the desks and chairs that would have been damaged in the previous school year, the painting of the classrooms, the cleaning up of the yard, the repairs to the bathrooms, and the general fixing up that is required for the students to have a pleasing and comfortable environment. The community can also assist by holding each other responsible, especially in this time when we are having a drought, and not to allow community members to take away the little water that the National Water Commission and the Ministry of Education will be working together to put in the tanks for our children.
Everyone benefits when communities take responsibility for the maintenance of school properties.
Because when you have a lot of people coming together, then that can be a powerful force. And so I just want to encourage all our community members to just come forward, offer yourselves. If you're having challenges in terms of acceptance from our schools administrators and so on, because sometimes that is a challenge, please feel free to get in touch with any of the regional offices at the Ministry of Education, and let us work with you to open that gateway for you to provide the support for the institutions.
Another way communities can get involved in the preparation of schools is by working with the Parent Teachers Association. The Ministry of Education is also engaging communities through its National Parenting Commission to see how it can foster a kind of community spirit that reflects social pride towards schools.
I will also tell you that there is already a lot of goodwill out there. So there are some parents who have come forward to say that they want to assist the ministries. And so we are trying to see how best we can develop a registry that is aligned to different schools, that we can say to different parents who want to assist, this is what the support that the school requires, so that it can be provided.
The Education Ministry notes that where there is community and even private sector involvement, schools are able to operate more effectively. Resources that would have been used on projects that have been taken care of by the community can go towards other important areas.
This partnership has worked tremendously well for a lot of our institutions. So where the community is involved, where corporate Jamaica is involved, and the government, we have seen that these schools have done exceptionally well. And so we would like to adopt this model for all of our schools across Jamaica as we seek to improve the quality of education.
Once again, here's a reminder of some of the ways you can assist your neighboring school to successfully reopen this September. You can help with repairs to benches, desks, and chairs. Help to repaint the classrooms. How about cleaning up the school compound and repairing the bathrooms? And if you look around, there may be other things that need fixing. Let's be resolved as community members
to start taking ownership for the institutions, for the schools, which are really beacons within the community. You have to engender this kind of community spirit, get the community to protect the institution, and by virtue to protect our children.
That's our show for today. Remember that you can rewatch these and other programs at gis.gov.jm or on our YouTube channel. Keep sending your feedback through our Facebook and Twitter pages. You can, of course, download the GIS News app for your smartphone from the Google Play Store. I'm Adrian Atkinson. On behalf of the hardworking production team here at the GIS, we use this opportunity to big up and send enough respect to all the athletes representing Jamaica at the World Championships.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.